So today we have exercise 9. We will see a technique, a new technique for drawing circles in perspective, using the line of rotation. Okay? Now, this method is a faster method for drawing circles in perspective. Because the previous methods that we looked at, close the door faster, please. Okay. So, the previous method that we looked at, how did you draw circles in perspective? By drawing the square, by putting the two diagonals for the center point, then drawing these two lines, and then when you draw the circle, it has to touch these 4 points. Of course, this is not in perspective. When you draw the square in perspective, this is what you do to draw the circle. And if you've completed your homeworks, you know that some objects have a lot of circles. Anywhere where it changes the shape, you have to put the circle if it's a circular object. So, when you have a lot of circles, you will have to draw a lot of squares in perspective, whether with 1 point or 2 point perspective. So it's a lot of work, it's time consuming. Sometimes you just need to draw fast and like in sketching, and you need to be able to draw circles correctly. At least their tilt. So a circle in perspective can have a lot of shapes, okay? So it can be very thin, for example, it can be thicker, it can be like this is rotated in a specific way, it can be rotated like this, a little bit like this, a little bit like this. So it can be endless ways of how you can draw a circle rotated. You see they are tilted somehow. And when you draw something in perspective without the square first, without drawing first the square in perspective, there is a high chance that you will get the tilt of the circle wrong. Not only the thickness, but also the tilt. And this can destroy any drawing. So, even a sketch has to look good, because a sketch is the first drawing anybody sees of an idea. So, even sketches have to look good. So let us see a method that we can use without drawing the square. So we can still draw circles correctly, but without drawing the square and wasting all this time. This is the line of rotation method. Now, if you notice on this here, on this square and the circle, of course, these two lines here, okay? Now, in this drawing, this line is equal to this line. Why is that? Because this is not in perspective. We are looking at a circle. So, diameter, this is the diameter. Anywhere where I will draw a diameter, it will be equal, okay? So this is equal to this. But once I put a circle in perspective, it will never look like a circle, full circle. So if we have this circle here, and you look at it straight on, you see it as a circle. So any diameter will be equal. But once you start putting it in perspective, it will start having an oval shape, like an egg shape. Whether thin, whether thicker, but it will start getting an oval shape. So, it will look something of this type. Now, it can be thinner, it can be more thick, for example, opened, more closed, okay? So, but in perspective, it will always have an oval shape, okay? This is an oval shape, this is an oval, this is an oval. It will never look like a circle. Never in perspective, okay? Because if it's a circle, that means you're looking at it straight on. Then you can see it only a circle. This is not perspective, okay? So in perspective, it will always be an oval. So what is the important thing about it? So if it's an oval, let me put here a circle that is in perspective. What does this mean? What does it do to these two lines? we still have them, okay? We still have them. We have this line and we have this line. But once we have an oval shape, one of the lines will always be bigger than the other. Let us draw another one to see. For example, okay, this circle. This is thinner, okay, and smaller. It will still have a long line and it will have a short one. So these two lines here, in perspective, one of them will be longer, the other shorter. Now, how long, how short, this is another question, but there will always be one longer than the other. This is very important to understand for this method. So one line will be always long, the other shorter than this. This is shorter than this. Okay, great. Now, the line of rotation. This is a line that passes through the center of the circles. So let me delete this again. The line of rotation passes through the center of the circle. So, here we have our horizon line as usual. I put you some examples. Now here, I put the line of rotation going this way. This is perpendicular to the horizon line. This means, if I want to draw a circle now, this is the same circle, but in different locations, okay? Now, notice that this same circle, sometimes it's more closed, sometimes more open, okay? This depends on the location, depending on the horizon line. So, if I put the circle exactly here on the horizon line, we will just see a line. This circle will have the same size as the long part of the side. It will be the same all, but this other line, this line here, from here to here, from here to here, from here to here, this will become steadily smaller and smaller and smaller until, if it's put exactly on the horizon, it will look like a line. So if you take a cup, for example, now this cup has two circles. It has this circle and this major circle. Look at just this circle. If I put it exactly on the horizon line, what you will see this circle as? A line. You will just see from here to here, but you will not see any opening. Okay? Okay, now when this same circle goes above the horizon, it will start to have an opening, more open, more open, more open. So there is, again, these two lines. If you are drawing the same object, the long line will always be the same size, but the short line can be smaller or larger depending on where its location according to the horizon line. Another thing, if you notice, here is the line of rotation that passes through all the centers, okay, of these circles. If you notice the long line here, you see the long lines of the circle, the long axis. This is always at 90 degree, 90 degree, 90 degree, 90 degree to what? The line of rotation. Okay, this is the long axis, which is this line, not the short one, okay? The long axis of the circle is always at 90 degree to the line of rotation. Now let us look at another example. At this example, what is this? A cup. Actually like this cup, okay? So I draw the same cup 3 times. Here is the line of rotation on the same line of rotation. On the same horizon line, and again the line of rotation, I put it at vertically, completely vertically, because I'm going to move the cup in this way. Look how the circles of the cup will rotate. They will rotate in this way, okay, up and down, okay. So once I will draw the cup here, once I will draw it here, once I will draw it here. So it's above the horizon, on the horizon, this circle, and then below. And we can draw more cups, okay, also. So the line of rotation that passes through the centers of all of these circles, okay. Now, because we are moving the cup like this, the line of rotation is vertical to the horizon line. And notice how the circles change. So if we have the cup exactly on the horizon, This here, circle, we will see it as a line. We will not have any thickness. But once we start moving up and up and up, this circle, which is this one, will start opening, opening, opening more, okay? And the small one here as well. And notice with the dotted line, sometimes we can see the entire, okay, the entire circle. Sometimes it can be hidden, like this part is seen, but this part is hidden. So if you imagine this is made out of glass, and you look at it, my horizon is here, and look at it this way. I will see this circle completely as an oval, and I will see parts of this, but this part is going to be hidden. So it depends on where are you putting it on the horizon. If I put it up here, I will see this complete, okay? So there is no dotted lines here, but I will see this as dotted. So, and when we start moving it down, 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 more, so this circle starts opening more and more and more, but it will never become a circle. It will become circle only in one occasion when you look at it like this. Then it's a circle. But moving the cap like this, no matter how much you put it down, it cannot happen. Or you have to look at it in this way to see it a circle, okay? Now, here we have the line of rotations, vertical. Again, we are moving whatever object up and down according to the horizon like this, okay? But what if I want to draw it in a different way? Like, for example, this is a small object, and I'm drawing it. I want to sketch it from, I want to show from here, I want to show from here, I want to show from here. So I can easily rotate it. So for example, I can draw it now like this. What about that? Or like this, or like this, or like this, or like this, or like this. So I can rotate it many ways and draw the same object many times on the paper. So how to use this line of rotation to do that? Now, with this method, with the line of rotation, you don't even need to draw the horizon line. No need. There is the horizon line. Now, if I draw the object like this, you know, it is like the horizon line is tilted according to the object. But I don't need to draw the horizon and then draw the line of rotation. No need. We don't need it. So, we just draw the line of rotation. You notice this line that passes through the centers. And we apply this rule. The long axis of the circle is 90 degrees to the line of rotation. So if my circle is of this size, now we don't need to know the size, but it looks like that. So the long part is here, the short part is here. So this long line must be at 90 degrees to the line of rotation. Okay? Here, if the line of rotation like this, so imagine if this is a cap, the cap is drawn maybe like this here. Here it's drawn like this, here it's drawn like this, here it's drawn like this, okay? So if you imagine it with a real object, and any object actually. Okay? So the circles of this object, if I put it to my horizon line vertical, so the line of rotation passes like this, and I can move it up and down, all the circles will look tilted in this way. They will not be, look, they will not be tilted in any other way. But once you move it like this, now all the circles are tilted in that direction. So the line of rotation passes like this now, okay? What if I draw it like this? The line of rotation goes through the center of all of this and come out. So you can rotate this anyhow you want and draw it by first drawing the line of rotation. So how shall we rotate an object? For example, like this, okay? So this is the line of rotation. And now all the circles have to be, the long part of the axis, the long axis has to be 90 degrees to this line, so that we know we are drawing the circles correctly. Okay, so what shall we draw? Let me draw another object, because these are very simple. These are just one circle, the same circle, but tilted differently. Now let me draw an object and see how this will work. first draw the line of rotation. Any circle I draw, small, big, whatever, has to be, this line has to pass through the center of these circles, okay? It needs to pass through the center. You cannot put this circle at the side, okay? And it will have what? It will have this short side and it will have a longer side here, okay? This circle, the short side, the longer side. Now the long axis should be what? The long axis should be 90 degrees to the line of rotation. This way you know that your circles are tilted correctly. Now if I draw a circle that looks like this on this line of rotation, this is wrong, okay? Except if the object itself have a tilted circle, like a tilted here. But here we don't see. Look, all the circles are going in one direction. So if we tilt the object, they will follow the line of rotation and the long axis will be at 90 degrees. Okay? Here we don't have any surface that go, so all of them are parallel and all of them vertical. So nothing going on here that will make us to do this. Okay, so this is wrong. Okay. So what is this object that I just did here? Okay. Now, of course, you need to be careful that even when we draw the line of rotation anywhere here, in any tilt, there is still a horizon line somewhere here. Okay, so you need to be clear about this object that you are drawing. For example, if the horizon line is getting closer to these circles, the short side of them should be less than when they start going away from the horizon line. So look, this circle is the same size like this. How do I know? Because the long axis is the same. But look at the short axis. This is becoming larger here. That's because it's going away from the horizon line that is somewhere there. Okay? So this should be kept in mind in sketching. Okay? As I go away from the horizon, the short axis increases. And at all times, the long axis is 90 degrees. Now, if we want to connect this object and finish it, it could look something of this type. Okay, now, depending on where you place this, one of the sides will be hidden. So this will be dotted here. Okay? So you can see this side, but this is here from the back. The same thing here. Okay? This will be from the back. And the small ones here as well. Now this one, no, we will see it complete because it's visible completely. Now we can put here also the thicknesses and all the other details and so on. Now, very easily, using this method, you can put now the line of rotation, for example, like this, and draw the same object. But this object tilted now in a different way. So, if you want to draw it, so we have here two small circles. You can actually, if you want to draw exact, you can actually take whatever size it is here, put it here. Okay? For example, the long axis stays as it is. Only, the long axis stays the same. So, this now circle, let me fix it. So we have, for example, a certain distance. Now this distance can change because it depends on how you tilt it. This can become shorter at some point, okay? So it really depends here. And then we have here the big circle. And we have, after that, okay, this is tilted wrongly here. We have to fix it. So we can, to prevent this, we can draw the long part of the circle first, and then to draw the circle. This is more easy. Now we need to be careful about some things here. When you draw carefully with the ruler, okay? Even freehand, you still need to be careful that this line of rotation, okay, as we said, needs to pass through the centers. So this is very important. And this part of the circle is equal to this part. So you cannot make, for example, like this. Okay, we have here the long part, and then draw this circle like this, and then draw this one like this. So this cannot happen. This from here to here must be the same from here to here. So from here to here, same from here to here. From here to here, same from here to here, okay? This is also something to be careful about. Okay, now if we connect the object, the same thing what we did to the first one. So again, what is hidden we will make with dotted lines, okay? Here and here and here, and this will stay complete as it is. So this is the idea. You can take an object and draw first the line of rotation of how the circles will rotate, and then just decide what is the size of the circles that you need depending on the object. So let us draw something else here. Let's delete these. Let's draw another object. So we have again line of rotation. For example, like this. Okay. Now, to make my life easier, I will decide the size of the circles, the long part, and then we will draw the circles. So, what shall we draw? Okay. So this long part of the circle, look, it's 90 degrees to this line of rotation. Okay? So this is here the line of rotation. So, these are the long axis of the circles. Now we will draw the circle. Now, how much you leave this circle opened, you need to imagine that again there is a horizon line. Okay? So how open I place it, it could mean that, if you look at it from your place, now this object I can move it like this, draw it, I can move it like this, draw it, I can move it like this. But what if I draw it like this, towards you? The line of rotation here, okay? So the short side of this circle will be more opened because it's facing you. It's not totally facing you, but a little bit, or like this, instead of just moving it through these axes, okay, like this. We can also move it like this, like this. In this case, the circles will be more open. So you need to be careful what you are drawing. So it's not always that they have to be this. It could be more open, like this, for example. This means it's more tilted towards you. So this side is more open. Now, if I start like this here, these circles, whatever come after, will be even more open, okay? They are bigger and they will be more open. So this, for example, could look like this. You need to be on the paper very careful not to make these parts unequal. On the board, it's a little bit difficult to make. For for example, this time. Okay, now this one will be even more open than the others, okay? So it will not be a circle complete, but it will get closer and closer to a circle, okay? Now, it depends on what kind of an object it is. For example, okay, this part here we can see it complete. For example, we can put a thickness to it. Okay. Now, from here, for example, so this is now straight, we don't have curves. Now, this part here of this big circle is going to be hidden. This is here the opening at the top. You can see it, for example. And this one will be hidden here on the back. Okay. So, this is the idea. So, if you notice, it looks like this object, whatever it is, it's tilted not only like this or like this, but also tilted towards us because of this. So if I put here, for example, another design elements, just for you to see it better. Imagine, so this object, if you look at it, it looks very tilted towards you. So this is because this circle, how much we open to this side. So the first circle you start off with, imagine the horizon line. Is the horizon line close to it or far away? If it's far away, so if the horizon line is here, and I'm looking at the object down here, it will be more open, the circle, than if it gets closer to the horizon, because on the horizon it will become a line, okay? Just a line, we will not see. So, this thing needs to be taken into consideration. But you don't need to draw the horizon, you just start with the line of rotation, and this line of rotation passes through the centers of all of the circles, okay? And this long axis is 90 degrees to the line of rotation. This is the other thing is what design you are drawing, okay? What kind of design? So the other circles you will play. If you look at this and, oh, okay, I don't like it, I want to make this different, okay? Very easily. This is how sketching works, okay? So you draw something, if you don't like it, you delete. Okay, we want to make this round, for example, okay? Now it's another object. You don't like it. I want to make this up here. Remove this opening. And we can put another circle here. So the long part has to be at 90 degrees. Then we draw. Now this here, the short part will be a little bit less than this, even though they're the same size, okay? So they will be a little bit less because it's getting closer to the horizon line. So a little bit less here. Okay, now this will be hidden and this will be shown here at the top. Now we have a different design. You don't like it, you delete. You can connect, for example, these together like this. It will be another kind of design, and so on. A different design, okay? This is how you sketch. If you're thinking about an idea, you start with something, and you keep changing until you reach an idea that is acceptable. And then, if you have to draw this object in a different way, in a different rotation, again, you start with the line of rotation and you draw. Now, why do we need to draw this? Like an object, rotated, for example. Why not just one view and that's it? Well, because sometimes you have details. You know, if imagine this is your design, this mouse. Now, this cup, it's very simple, but this mouse, look, it has details here. Anywhere where you rotate it, you will find details. So that's why we need to draw objects in more than one view. Okay? Now, again, if we have circular objects, we will draw them according to this rule. If we don't have, or we have a mix of them, we will apply what we explained in the previous classes. But often you need to draw an object from more than one view to show the details. Like, okay, maybe I have something interesting from here, but what about from here, the details of the design? So maybe I can draw it like this also. Now, understand that this method, the line of rotation method for circles, is suitable for smaller objects, like something that you can take in your hand, rotate, okay, easily, not with, for example, interior. Now, you cannot draw an interior, tilt it in this way, or, you know, like if you draw an interior, you always have the horizon parallel to the ground, because it's a huge object, and if you don't draw it tilted, there is something wrong in the drawing, okay? Or if I draw a building, you cannot draw it as if it's falling down, okay? So, it depends on the size of the objects. Now, for example, if I draw this table, this is also a heavy, bigger object. Now, this I can draw. I can show details from 2 directions, from 3 directions. I can show details. But it is not advisable to draw objects like these above the horizon. You can draw it as a practice, but if you're the designer of this table, it is always drawn below the horizon. Now, below the horizon, it can be tilted in many ways, but to show the details from the back, from the front. But to draw it above the horizon, it will feel like it's up in the air. And this heavy object cannot be up in the air. But this small object, yes, it can be like, oops, up in the air, you know, I can rotate it the way I like, it's very easy. Not a table, not an interior, not buildings, okay, this kind of stuff. So please understand that some of these methods are suitable for specific types of designs, okay? Not everything you can draw using any method. These are just to help you. Depending on what am I drawing, I can apply this method, I can apply that method, or I can apply a combination of them, okay? So just keep this in mind. And now we will see some of the examples here. There is a lot of examples, you know, that, for example, here. So as you can see, the objects, all of these circles and circles that should be drawn, you should keep it on the paper, don't delete, because these are the construction lines. So any object you draw, you see these, for example, here, there is a lot of stuff. These are very irregular, shapes, as you can see. Very, very organic. But they are made out of circles in a way. So, again, all of the circles that go in a certain direction, they are following the line of rotation. Now, if it's an irregular object, you see this object, it goes this way and that way. So the line of rotation that should pass through the circles is also going to be going according to the circles. So it depends on what you are drawing. This is an object that everything is clear here. All the circles follow the same line of rotation which goes through the center. And normally products are like this. Products. Anything, if you cut it in half, this is symmetrical to this. But these are not. So if you draw something very organic, so this piece come here, go this way, so the circles will start, so the line of rotation that starts it in the middle can go this way, and the circles can change according. So let me just draw it here so to illustrate this, because some drawings you need it. So for example, what if I have my line of rotation like this? Line of rotation. Again, not straight. So how will this work with the circles? Well, we have a circle here. The long part, so the long axis of the circle has to be 90 degrees to the line of rotation. If I draw a circle here, the long side must be 90 degrees. So it depends on where you are drawing the circles. Then you draw it here. This has to be at 90 degrees to the line of rotation at this point, okay? Now, when you draw the actual circle, Now, what will happen when we connect the object? So this is here an organic object. This is not normally products are not designed like this, but sometimes you need to know, okay, what if I have this kind of form? How to do it with the line of rotation method? Well, wherever you have a circle, it has to be at 90 degrees to the line of rotation at this point, at this point, at this point, at this point, wherever it is, okay? So this is the idea here with this. You can draw very nice objects using this method. And here we can see, student works of something similar of what you will do. So let me first here explain what you need to do. So for your homework, you will have 3 sheets. 3. One sheet, draw circular bin with circular pipes of different sizes and diameters inside. What's circular bin? So something of this type. This is a circular bin. We'll have a line of rotation here in the middle. And trash bag. Trash, okay? Okay. Now remember, every object in real life have a thickness to the material. So here it has a thickness, okay? So it's not, even if it's like small, like 1 millimeter, every material have a thickness. This would have a thickness, okay? So it depends on what you're drawing, always put a thickness, okay? This is another circle here. Now, this here at the back, this space compared to this space, this should be bigger, this smaller, because this goes away from us. So, this trash bag at home, everybody has something similar. You need to put pipes inside. What pipes? Pipes of different sizes, circular pipes of different sizes and diameters. So we will have here, this is a line of rotation of the bin, but we will have inside many line of rotations, for example, many line of rotations, and this will be pipes. Okay, so here circular pipe, and here, for example, it ends. This is one of the pipes, okay, and this is the line of rotation of this pipe, okay? Now, it has the same, what circle here you have at the start, it has the same here, but this one should be more open because it's more far away from the horizon, okay? That's the difference. Now, different diameter, this could be, for example, a big one, a bigger one, and the end of it, for example, here. And connect again. So, I'll just throw them with black here so it's clear. Now some of them, remember, can be, like this pipe can be behind other pipes, so be careful. So all of this can be, what about this one here? Maybe this one is a very small here circle, okay? And the end of it is here somewhere. Remember the long part, 90 degrees to the line of rotation, but this pipe here could be what? Behind. So this is behind this. So you have to draw many pipes of different diameters, like different sizes, some of them thick, some of them thin, you know, and different lengths. Some of them can be long, some of them shorter. So you have to put several inside, at least 5, 6 pipes, okay, or more. And show which ones are behind, which ones are at the front. And if you notice these lines of rotation, line of rotation, line of rotation, they are tilted in different ways, okay? So the bin have a line of rotation and the pipes have their own lines of rotations. You draw the line of rotation, you draw the circles, how they rotate according to this. So this is here the first homework, okay? One sheet with this. this kind of object. 2 sheets you have to draw. On each sheet, 1 object in 3 different views. So, you will have 1 object, okay? This is the same object, but in 3 different rotations. Same object in 3 different rotations, okay? More examples. Same object in 3 different rotations. And notice here, this is also made out of circles, but they go in this kind of manner, okay? So they are not straight here. So here we have the line of rotation go like this, okay? So you have to draw each circle depending on the location correctly. So this is here another example. So, like these objects. Now, if you draw something more complicated a little bit, so this has more details, okay? Look at these details here, the thicknesses, everything. If you try to draw something more complicated and the result is good and correct, of course you will get a better mark than someone who drew something very simple and correct. So it's not only, you know, like this, for example, is more simple. This cup. It has details, but more simple compared to that one. So I consider this thing. Okay? Now sometimes I'm telling you, draw something simple for a specific reason for you to learn the method. But if I tell you it's a little bit free, like now if you draw something more complex and it is correct, this student will get a better mark than someone who draw a very simple object, like this cup, and draw it correct. Both students have correct drawings, but one has spent an hour drawing, the other spent 5 minutes drawing, for example. That's a difference, okay? So please take this into consideration. So it really depends on your skill. Now, if you see yourself, you hardly understand anything, your drawing is very difficult for you, you draw more simple objects, and yes, your marks will be a little lower. If you see yourself as a student who can draw very well, you can actually attempt to draw something more difficult, according to our homework and rules, of course, but something more complex to show your skill, okay? And this will make your mark higher. So this is also something you need to think about in this class. If you see yourself, your skills bad, stay to the simple, stay towards the simple, but correct, to draw correctly. If you see yourself a strong student, know how to draw more difficult objects and correct at the same time. Okay, is that clear? So, these things are important also for you to know. Okay.